Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'm going to be playing another Arena Cube draft. This Arena Cube has been pretty sweet, very aggro oriented though. The red and white aggro decks are super powerful, and as that is the case, I'm kind of excited to start off with a pack 1, pick 1 and Nax here. This is a 3-mana 2/3 that spits out a 1/1 when it dies at worst, and it's absolutely absurd if you can be mono red and pretty good in any 2-colored red-based aggro deck. So I think a Nax is pretty sweet here. Esper Sentinel also solid. Farewell, incredible if you're playing a more slower, more controlling deck. Red and 7 if you're trying to play a green deck. This is one of the strongest green cards in the whole cube. And yeah, as always, pack 1, pick 1, kind of just get to lean into whatever strategy you feel like playing. And today, I think I want to just try to crush some people with some more aggro. It's just so good in this cube. It's very powerful. So now we have some nice white aggro options. A Danto Vanguard's pretty sick, being able to keep giving it indestructible so it can keep attacking into anything with 3 or less toughness. You just don't care how much power their stuff has, you just pay the life on it. Remorseful Cleric, also pretty sweet, a cheap card you can get into the sky and exile somebody's graveyard. AO is quite powerful, but the 1 and 2 mana creatures are much more important for aggressive strategies in the cube because you're often ending the game on like turn 5, turn 6. There's also a Braid here to stick to mono red, which would be pretty good. It's a nice, cheap, efficient removal, 3 to a creature, or it gives you main deck artifact hate, so that's not a bad pickup either. But I think I'm going to go with a Danto Vanguard. The card is just really impressive, being able to give indestructible as you're attacking and just beat anything that you're running up into. Unfortunately, we might be in a draft pod where the story is out here and everybody knows mono red and mono white and Boros are very good aggro decks, so we might be getting a bit cut here. There's still a Riveteer's Requisitioner and Den of the Bugbear, which are pretty solid, but the best cards are easily Workshop Warchief and Thragtusk, which are both really good ways to stabilize against the aggro decks because you gain a ton of life, get another blocker down. That being said, I'm just going to completely force aggro today and see how it pans out if you just force the aggro. That is something I haven't done yet. I've just usually ended up where it was pretty open, so I pushed into it and ended up with a 6-7 7-win run. But let's see if you can just hard force it from the get-go here. That's what we're going for. Wow, okay, well, maybe we just didn't open up a lot of red or white cards because now we have all of the red and white super powerful stuff. I'm going to lean towards red first to be able to potentially go mono red over this Imperial Blade Master here. Be fine if we're Boros. But I'm just going to take another great red card. We have Zerial here, which can buff the whole board with haste. Make some Devils. Ox, which can refuel your hand, which is quite nice. If this is the last card you play, you just discard your 0-card hand and draw 3. Then there's Magda, which can give you treasure tokens to dump your hand out a little more quickly. So Magda, Zerial, and Ox are my favorites here. Insult to Injury, a little slow, a little awkward. I think I'm going to go Ox. I really like this at the top end of the curve. Draw a fresh new hand, and it escapes from the grave, so you can do it multiple times. Now we have Voldaren Epicure here, which is a pretty solid 1-drop for these decks. You want to have a lot of 1-drops. And this one gives you a blood token to make sure you don't flood out later. History Benalia is really strong, though. If we end up Boros, 2/2/2s, it's a lot stronger than Epicure. I'll actually go for History Benalia here. I think our deck's going to be a lot better if we're a Boros deck with History Benalia in it than a mono red deck with the Epicure. Actually, not a big fan of Magmatic Channeler. It's kind of slow, but it does potentially give you some card draw. Discard a card, then... well, card filtering, discard a card, then choose 1 card out of your top 2 to play this turn. I think I would prefer the red-white dual land or the white land we get to play over a basic plains. So if we flood out, we just make 2 angels. Do some nasty stuff. I'll take a Miria's Call here. Now we have Uthgard Fury, which is fine. A little slow, 3 mana for 4 damage to any target, but you can deal damage to face, which is nice. It's not that slow. The secondary effect on this almost never matters, but technically now all of your damage you're dealing to opponents' cards is permanent, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Uthgard Fury, pretty solid just for that 4 damage. So we wield our Castle Emberth and our Spikefield Hazard. Both are beautiful. I think I'm going to take the Castle Emberth here. They're both lands with some flexibility. A land that maybe is a small burn spell to get something off the board, or a land that is maybe a big buff effect to get some extra damage in. Take the Castle Emberth here. Wheel the Dragon's Rage Channeler. This was one of the only 2 red cards we saw in this pack, so that's a great sign. I think this is pretty nice if you have a lot of cheap instants and sorceries. You get that Surveil to set up your next draws, make sure you don't flood out, and sometimes every now and then you even make this a 3-power flyer to start attacking with. I'm just going to cut red pretty hard here, even if they're cards I'm not going to play. I'll take the Squirrel, could be playable in Rakdos. Right now we have the Pathway and the Insult to Injury, still not super high on Insult to Injury, so I'm just going to take the Pathway even here for Mana Fixer for the red-white deck. If we are the full Boros, and we'll see what we open up here. All the Skyclave is pretty solid in Boros, but Seasoned Pyromancer, pretty phenomenal in Boros or Mono Red. 3 mana for a 2/2, you discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards and create a 1/1 for each non-land card you discarded, so potentially 4 power and toughness for 3 mana spread amongst 3 creatures. You can also exile it from your graveyard later to get even more 1/1s. Seasoned Pyromancer is just sweet. It's the goodies here. The other thing is it works like the Ox of Agonis as well. If you have an empty hand when you play this, it'll tell you to discard 2 cards, but you can't, but then you'll still draw 2 cards, because it doesn't say for each card discarded you draw a card. It just says straight up draw 2 cards after you discard 2. So if you play this with an empty hand, you're still drawing 2. So Seasoned Pyromancer also has some flexibility like that where it's super good late game. And Rahilda's incredible on turn 2. This is the new Robber of the Rich, a 2/2 first strike. When it deals combat damage to an opponent, you exile the top card. Well, you exile a non-land card from their library at random, and during any turn you attacked with a wolf or werewolf, you can cast it, spending mana as though it were mana of any color to do so. And if it's nighttime, this is a double striker that does that, so you exile 2 cards from their deck. Rahilda is super sick. Wedding Announcement and Lysel are also really sweet options in white, but Rahilda is also super, super good, probably just as good as those, and it keeps us to mono red, so we'll take Rahilda. Not Shatter Skull Smashing, that's not what I took, so I'll have to remember this is a Rahilda. Go to Arena, still with the visual bugs, still with the audio dropping out of nowhere. Arena's doing great. Alright, Light Up the Stage is a pretty good one. Any card draw for the red decks is super, super sweet, and this is really cheap. 1 mana to play it if you've dealt damage to your opponent, so that's awesome. Shatter Skull Smashing is great as well, similar to Den of the Bugbear and Castle Emberth, where it replaces a mountain in our deck as a land that can be used as a removal spell later if we need it, but I'm going to go Light Up the Stage here. Now we get Professional Facebreaker, come on in. Definitely not going to play Sune's Intervention, a 6-drop in a Boros aggro deck. Okay, Boros aggro cards now for sure. Isamaru for the 1-drop aggro creature. Don't have a lot of 1 and 2 mana creatures right now, so that's pretty important to me to get the really cheap card. Kyodai and Restoration Angel would both be good too, but I think just 1-drop aggro creatures fill out the curve better here. Oof, Experimental Frenzy. This card's absolutely absurd if you have a lot of 1 and 2 mana stuff. Huge, huge, huge card draw late game, but I think our deck's actually doing really good on that front, where I might want to play Grim Lavamancer over it, because this card's super sick, giving you some multiple burn spells off this one card. It's another 1-drop to play as well, but like we have Light Up the Stage, Ox of Agonis, Rahilda, Seasoned Pyromancer, a lot of random card draw, Professional Facebreaker too. I feel like I want to just make sure I have more 1-drops and take a Grim Lavamancer here, but Experimental Frenzy is pretty nuts. Alright, all the Boros cards are gone out of this pack, so I'm just going to take Seize the Storm and not play it. Again, just hard cutting red, just out of spite at this point for anybody else trying to play any aggro decks in Boros. Jaxus is fine. I haven't been massively impressed by Unbreakable Formation, but it is potentially really impactful if played at the right time. But I haven't been massively impressed by Jaxus either, but I have won some games off of just blitzing Jax out of nowhere. Jaxus. Hall of Oracles could be okay if we're mono red. Get an extra counter on something whenever we play a spell. Super late Shark Typhoon, good lord. Blue is open. Agonjo would be great in Boros, another land that we can channel if we're flooding out. Shelter would be fine, but I think Agonjo would be better. Do not love Faithless Looting. Don't love Treasure Map either, but I think I prefer it to Faithless Looting. Without graveyard synergies in your deck, and our only graveyard synergy is Ox of Agonis, as far as I know. Well, I guess it works with Grim Lavamancer too. Faithless Looting might be fine in here. Oh, I actually like that Uthgard Fury is an enchantment that stays on the board. It's actually nice with an axe. It's kind of a weird synergy I didn't even realize was going to come up. But that could be a good one. Usually I just treat this as a double red and 1 sorcery for 4 to any target, which is fine. But the fact that it is an enchantment that stays on the board actually relevant in an extra way for this deck. Got like a blue-red spells deck as a backup, just kind of randomly here. All right, Inferno is a lot of mana for an aggro deck, but it is quite the finisher. Probably not going to pick it up. Definitely going to be between Phoenix of Ash and Banefire here. The burn spell we can play whenever we need it versus the Phoenix that also escapes from the grave, hits really hard, really efficiently. I'm a big fan of the Phoenix, even though I have a lot of 3 mana stuff. I'm going to take Phoenix. Okay, now we've got Voltaic Visionary. We're low on 2 mana creatures, so I'm going to slam dunk this card over Siege Gang Commander. Again, that card's just kind of slow. It is powerful, but it's a 5 mana card. I really want more 2 mana cards. That's where we're really empty on our curve. The most powerful curves, the games you're most frequently going to win are going to be the games where you play 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. So we'll take Voltaic Visionary here. Slam that card down. Okay, no more red here. Nothing even good for white. We'll just take a big score, random, mediocre card draw that could make the cut. There's an Elesh Norn, but that's not going to go into a Boros deck. It costs 7. We're often cutting lands in these kind of aggro decks. Teleportation Circle and Birth of Melodis also aren't for our deck type, our deck strategy. Searing Blood, super cheap burn. Adeline is also incredible, but she's pretty hard to cast, being double white. We only have 1 dual land, the Needle Verge Pathway. And we have a lot of 3 mana creatures already. I'm going to take the cheap burn, the Searing Blood. Okay, now we get a Sacred Foundry here to help mana fix us. Touch the Spirit Realm and Mana Tithe would be fine too, but I really want to have the mana fixing ready for our white cards. Clarion Spirit's fine, but Bloodthirsty Adversary is exceptional. 2 mana, 2/2 haste, can recast some instant sorceries from grave later. We don't have a lot of those, but again, it lets us keep red as the core and white as a splash, which looks definitely how we are headed here. Royal Eruption's perfect. 2 mana for 3 damage to any target. Get something out of the way really quickly, and we can kick it late game for 5 damage to our opponent's face. Absolutely end the game. That's wonderful. Blade Splicer good too, but Royal Eruption is perfect. We're low on cheap removal. All right, now we get another great 1-drop creature. Super, super, super good one here. Making all of our burn spells into -X/-X, and prowess triggers to be basically a 1 mana 2 power creature somewhat often. Possible we got there for mono red, with those last few pickups being quite nice, but I could definitely still see a minor white splash ending up in this deck. Maybe we end up playing the treasure map here. Or the Icy Manipulator. Probably not Seize the Storm. I think my instant sorcery count's really low for Seize the Storm or Arcane Bombardment. I guess Maze Mind Tome's card draw too, similar to Treasure Map. Weird in a mono red deck, but maybe it happens. Oof. Actually no, Twin Shot, 2 mana, 2 damage to any target. That's the worst case scenario. Sure, Twin Shot. Best case scenario is we play it on 4, do 2 to any target, and leave behind a creature. Clarion Spirit would have been the best white card we had here, outside of History Benalia, which is kind of difficult to cast. Alright, I don't think I'm ending up white with the 3 white cards we have, and none of them are like a huge reason to be in white. We just cut a land here, call it a day? Oh, here's Rahilda. Wait, did we actually get a Shatter Skull Smashing? I don't think I did. Yeah, no, it vanished when I cut it from the deck. Okay, so we made it to a mono red 16 land deck that's running an Arcane Bombardment for like no reason. I guess White Splash it is then. Because we'll have to run Arcane Bombardment and Seize the Storm to be mono red. with 5 instants and sorceries, yeah, no, Arcane Bombardment isn't doing anything, Seize the Storm isn't doing anything, and these artifacts are quite slow. So we will play a Sacred Foundry, a Needle Verge Pathway, and an Agonjo as white sources. That's 3 white sources already. 1, 2, 15, 16, 17, 18 lands. This is 17 lands. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Got 1 land. We're down to 16 lands. Probably where I want to be. It means we put 2 white cards into the deck at minimum. Fortunately, Amiria's Call being triple white, don't think that's going to happen. Probably just Adonto Vanguard, Isamaru. Just splashing Adonto Vanguard and Isamaru. Well, this is what happens when you force a strategy, even when it's not mega open. Most open colors look to be probably some kind of green-blue value deck. Which I had a really good green-blue ramp deck before, but just because of how good the aggro was, it still only went like 5-3. That was on a Twitch stream. Yeah. This is gonna have some filler in it. An interesting Boros aggro deck. We still have absurd curves if we're lucky. But we definitely are running some filler in this deck. But even with some filler, like aggro is just so good in this cube that even this deck that's running some nonsense like Ice Manipulator, Big Score, Maze Mine Tome Treasure Map, I think even this deck, if I had to bet right now on what our record is going to be, I would say probably 4-3, 5-3. So still an above average record here with the hard force of Boros. Play a couple more planes in here. I accidentally cut something I wanted in. Oh yeah, done with the Bugbear. Put in 2 planes. This is 16 lands. Probably good. And I could cut another land, but I just don't have any quality non-land cards to put in for it anyway, except like History of Benalia, which is really going to muck up our mana base. So we need to run a lot more white sources than just the 5 we have right now. Maybe we even go up to a 6th, because right now we have 1, 2, 11, 12, 13 red. 12 red seems fine. 12 red sources. All these double red cards. Yeah, 12 red sources and 6 white sources. Feels pretty good to me. And again, yeah, nothing in the sideboard to run in this deck. So this is just how it's got to be. This is going to be the deck. Alright, here's a look at the final deck we'll be playing today. This is going to be a Boros aggro, almost completely a mono red aggro deck, just a tiny bit of white, just so that we have enough playables to not have to play complete nonsense. So the tiniest white splashes for like a Adonto Vanguard, Isamaru, just a couple of random cards. We forced aggro really hard. We really forced as much red as we could take here for a pretty heavy lean towards mono red, and we're just going to see how it does. My goal here was to see how good are the aggro decks. Are they so good that you can just hard force them even in a draft pod where they're very competitive, very fought over, which they absolutely were here. Red and white were definitely getting drafted pretty heavily here as well. So I don't know, we'll find out. I think this looks like pretty much like a 4-3, 5-3 deck still, even though this is a draft pod where I feel like generally I would say I definitely should not have been in these colors. But I don't know, we'll find out. We'll find out. If this does do 4-3 or better, then I think that's insane. That even in a draft pod like this, where like these colors are just not open, I think that's gonna show that there is a pretty clear color imbalance here in this cube, at least archetype imbalance towards the aggro decks. And this is a really great hand to start getting some very efficient damage in on the play. We've got a Blazing Root Walla turn 1, Rahilda turn 2, Knight of the Ebon Legion from our opponent. That is phenomenally annoying. Because Root Walla does not get to attack into a 1-mana 1/2. That's okay, because Rahilda certainly does if they don't have the removal for Rahilda, but they are black-white. Pass turn, no spells cast. That's a double striking Rahilda if I've ever seen one. Sure. If they block Root Walla, that means Rahilda's hitting for 4 and getting 2 cards out of their deck. They don't block Root Walla, so I'm not going to spend the mana, so I can hold up all the mana for whatever they have. So there's a Kaya and a Cavalier of Night, 2 5-mana cards from our opponents. Those are not going to happen here. Kind of like Pyromancer, actually. Drop Jaxus and Bloodthirsty Adversary to draw 2 and get just a wide board state. And we'll still have Light Up the Stage for later. Help us hit more lands to maybe cast our opponent's spells against them if Rahilda sticks around. Plus this way we're only casting 1 spell, so if my opponent doesn't double spell, Rahilda's still on double strike. If I cast Light Up the Stage, it's very likely I was going to cast 2 spells that turn. Okay, this is an easy Searing Blood on Lurrus to counter any life gain they're going for. But then we're going to send in... I should have played a Mountain first, but I wanted to hold my mana up for whatever we hit. Alright, we'll let them kill Root Walla here to get more damage in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put them to 4 if they block Root Walla. Okay, luckily they did not realize we did not have the red mana up. So that is super good for us. Now we can just play their Squirrel and their Elves, but then we flip Rahilda. Don't super want to flip Rahilda. But I do like going wide. At 4 life here, we probably just go wide. Now that's it's Wrath or GG. So Rahilda was absolutely busted this game. Searing Blood came up with the perfect timing. Yep, that's a Celestius, not a Wrath. That should be GG. Really disappointed I didn't play the Mountain there. We would have just, our opponent would have been at 2 life right now instead, because then we would have just buffed Root Walla and played one of the 2 cards to keep Rahilda double striking. That would have been the perfect use of all of our mana. But it's all good, still going to be 1-0. We just got to be the aggro deck on the play there. Our opponent did not have enough early plays to stop the ridiculous things that can pop out from a Rahilda. Okay, game 2, we're on the play again. Love to see it. I'm actually going to maybe Root Walla turn 1, because then next turn I can go Pathway on White, Isamaru, and buff Root Walla, and that gets actually more damage in than just playing Isamaru turn 1. Just 1 more damage this game, plus it's better for us if Root Walla dies to removal than if Isamaru dies, because we don't have to keep dumping mana into Isamaru to deal damage. No! Well, that was the one thing that would make this play worse, which is if they play a 1-1. If they played a 2-1, Isamaru would still trade as well as Root Walla would, but playing specifically a 1-1, Root Walla dies where Isamaru wouldn't have. Alright, send it in. No blocks as we'll get our damage in. If they do block, we'll trade. Alright, get our damage in. And drop Isamaru. Surprised they didn't just go for the trade there, but I'm happy with it. Must have removal for Root Walla here. Should be pretty easy for them to cast. Or they have a blocker that's going to be 4 toughness or something that Root Walla can't get into. Blood Artist, I see. Don't want to make any trades until Blood Artist is on board, but they still attack in with Storm Tamer. I could light up the stage, but I'd rather just Phoenix of Ash here and just go hog wild. Take everything, go down to 12. Alright, here comes their turn 3. Turn 3 from the Dimir deck. Hold up all the blockers and pass. Attack everybody, light up the stage, and see where it gets us. Okay, chump Phoenix of Ash. Oh, trade with Rootwalla. Take the rest. Sure. Gonna be better to draw cards than get more Phoenix of Ash damage here. Okay, they drain us for 1 life. 2 life. They're gonna be at 10. Okay, here is light up the stage. We counter this and then we play Visionary. Yeah, still get 3 power on the board this turn. And a Castle Embereth to buff everybody. They go Swamp Meathook Massacre for 2. That would be their biggest out. Swamp Meathook Massacre or Swamp Languish. Alright, Delver and Suspicious Stowaway. Making things pretty wide on the ground is good with that Blood Artist. Let's see if I can draw anything off Visionary. Make this a 4-3. Alright, Den of the Bugbear. It is a 4-3. Attack them for 4, I can drop a Maze Mind Tome and draw another card. If I hit them for 4 in the sky with Phoenix of Ash, they're dead to 1 more flying attack, so they need removal right now. I have to double block Isamaru to kill it. 3 creatures would die if that happens. We'll send an Isamaru as well, see what happens here. They're gonna try to win off... Oh my god, they're gonna Meathook Massacre Blood Artist us? I mean, they're dead next turn to Phoenix of Ash alone, because I can double buff it, so I don't think I buff here. I think I play Maze Mind Tome. Are we dead to Meathook Massacre plus Blood Artist? It's possible. In fact, they did not go for any blocks here. Makes me feel like that might be the plan for them. But yeah, now we can hit them for 6 in the sky next turn. I guess 1 targeted removal spell saves them, and they might not want to 2-for-1 themselves on Isamaru. Acquisitions Expert. Goodbye, Mountain. Which makes it pretty nice that I didn't Maze Mind Tome yet. Okay, land for turn. So this is not removal for Phoenix of Ash. And we hit a land in the top 2. I guess now we have to draw a land. That's the problem. Even the land was valuable there. Okay, that's not a land, but that kills them too. Yep, that kills them. If Phoenix of Ash gets in. Phoenix of Ash gets in. Do they have Counterspell as the last card in hand? They do not. That is going to be 2-0 now for the Boros aggro deck. The Forsos. Okay, we are on the play again. No 1 or 2 mana creatures. Really not what we want to see in an aggro deck like this. To the point where it could be worth a mulligan, even though the hand is powerful. I think I am going to mull. Now we have 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. That is the kind of hand you want. We get rid of the planes here, I guess. So we have double red for Pyromancer no matter what. Mulligan worked out pretty well for us. Lavamancer, Pyromancer is a nice combo as well. Nice synergy. Pyromancer puts the cards in grave for the Lavamancer to exile. Playing against black, they're going to turn 1 a Gutter Bones. We've got a pathway here so we can still get our white source if we need it. Opponent down to 17. You can just hold the Gutter Bones up as a blocker that trades into any of our attackers. Yep, that is what they're going to do here. We've got a big score coming up. That's not a great card, so we're just going to discard both of these to the Pyromancer. Yeah, I think I'm not attacking this turn, because then next turn I just Lavamancer away the Gutter Bones. 2 lands, not ideal. But not horrible, because one of the lands does get to work as a creature. Mythos of Nethroi, the Grim Lavamancer, so we can't kill Gutterbones. So Gutterbones does get to trade into one of our 2/2s. That's fine. Just start attacking all here. They can't bring Gutterbones back until they deal damage to us. Until they have us lose life. So they trade into Bloodthirsty Adversary because Seasoned Pyromancer has an ability from our graveyard. And they take 4. We are going to need to draw into some more of our card draw, but we've got a decent amount of it in this deck. Still, even though we've spent some of it, we could hit... What are our biggest draws? Well, Mazemind Tome's one of them. That's one of the card draws, so you stop looking through the deck. That's fine. It's a good one. It's also probably better to just Den of the Bugbear and get 2 more attacking creatures this turn. So I guess we don't even really need card draw here. We'll just start sending the Den in. They take 1 million. They're at 5. Very, very well kill them next turn if they don't have a Wrath like a Languish. Llanowar Visionary is not a Languish. They've got 1 mana up. Like they're stuck on mana here too. Still 3 lands here. There's the 4th land. Den probably finds lethal though. And they're going to scoop them up. That's going to be 3-0 for the Boros aggro deck that was completely forced in a draft pod where it was not even that wildly open. Just really showing off how powerful this archetype is. Even hard forcing it, you're getting yourself 3 potential 4-win decks. Alright, opponent is on the play this time. Because they're on the play, if it's an aggro mirror, we get to play the defensive where we actually do play removal spell turn 2, Anax, Jaxus, and it's okay that our hand's a little slower. I could still see a mulligan here. But I think this hand actually plays pretty well against an aggro deck. Just a little hope for the aggro mirror here. Having turn 2 Searing Blood is a viable play. Alright, should mold. I guess we're just going to treasure map here, get it on the board. Because they're like green-black, some kind of ramp deck probably. Inscription of Ruin. Okay, goodbye Icy Manipulator and Jaxus. Actually probably want to play Facebreaker. Play that next turn though, and when an axe hits them I get a treasure. Yeah, play the harder hitter first. Next turn we play Facebreaker. Get the treasure from an axe hitting our opponent. Tireless Tracker is a huge value play. They get to investigate every time they landfall, which means basically they draw a card every time. Alright, I think we attack in, and I'm actually just going to use this treasure to Searing Blood their tracker if they don't block here. Yeah, I'm just not going to let them get more clue tokens off that thing. Because now, even if they blow up my Professional Facebreaker, once we hit our 5th mana, we can still draw a fresh new 3 cards off our Ox of Agonis. So I don't need to rely on that for card draw here. They are going to foul play that, which is fine, again, for the same reason I just said. I forgot to stop in my upkeep, but that's fine, because it's actually a good draw. Land is a fine draw for us. We just play Ox. We'll do it pre-combat so that we get extra damage with an axe. Thanks to our devotion. Yeah, I do need to be stopping on my upkeep for when I don't have stuff to do with all my mana. That way I can scry in my upkeep with Treasure Map. Looks like I'm probably going to use all of my mana next turn, though. If I don't, I'll just scry later. Ooh, nice. We get 2 satyrs out of it instead of 1, because they waited until Ox resolved to blow up our card there. The Ragtusk is horrible for us. That is the perfect card against aggro decks. Probably just going to attack everybody, light up the stage. I don't think we're using Treasure Map right now. If they kill Ox, that's fine. It can escape later. Okay, they're just going to kill a 1/1. Sure. They go down to 12. Let's light up the stage. Land Phoenix of Ash. 5 mana, Phoenix, Grim Lavamancer, and Isamaru here. And Seasoned Pyromancer and Empty Hand just to draw 2 next turn, potentially. Looks pretty sick to me. If we don't get meat hooked or languished, things are looking sweet. Once upon a time, digging for a creature or land out of the top 5 cards of their library. I actually have Castle Emberth's ability to use next turn with this really wide board state. So I think again I'm not going to treasure map because I might just use Castle Emberth here. Oh wow, yeah, I'm just going to attack all Castle Emberth and then Royal Eruption post-combat to find the last point of damage. Oh, it's already lethal. That's just onboard lethal. Good lord, Castle Emberth, put in some work, why don't you? Ooh, 4-0 now for Forced Boros aggro. Alright, here we are now, round 5. Our opponent is on the play, but this hand is beautiful. We can maybe turn things to us being in the aggro position again, as kind of always for this deck. Hopefully no cheap removal from them. Uh-oh, it's going to be the 2 mana counter unless you pay 1 card. Not going to play around that because there's only one of those in the cube. I guess there's 2. There's Mana Tithe and White, but there's only 1 blue 2 mana counter spell that counters unless you pay 1. Alright, this is almost definitely removal for Hilda, because if it's not, the game is just like over yet again. Oh my god, Rahilda, you absolute beauty. Oh, and we got a Blink of an Eye, we got a cheap spell from our opponent too. We're gonna get a cheap creature as well. No, Hullbreaker Ore, that's not a cheap creature. Could light up the stage, I don't want to do that right now, I've got plenty of stuff to play. I think I go Dragon's Rage Channeler into Treasure Map, something weird like that. So I actually want to play the untapped land this turn. Yeah, get some Delirium going. I guess I don't want to play 2 spells with Rahilda. I didn't fully think that through. I should have just went down to the Bugbear and played Dragon Rage Channeler. That was bad. That was sloppy. Solemn Simulacrum. Well, I can shoot that right now. And, well, or I could just untap, play this, and shoot it. No, I'll play cards out of their deck next turn. We'll shoot that right now with the untapped mana. Made it worth it to hold up the 2 mana for nothing. We made it worth it. Okay, let's get 2 more cards out of their deck and we'll cast those against them. Guess I could have cast their own Blink of an Eye there. There's like so much good stuff to do here. Okay, we're definitely playing the Den. Am I just on Soulscar Mage? Royal Eruption the face. Well, let's light up the stage here. Let's give up on Rahilda always being able to be on the backside. Searing Blood. That doesn't do anything right now. Okay, those were some rough hits. Okay. Mostly worried about a potential Wrath from my opponent now, so I don't really want to play a bunch more creatures, and I don't want to be all in on Rahilda having to be double strike. So that's why I'm just trying to find more stuff to cast, get some more value here. See what our opponent's got. They've got 6 mana up. Now's the time to farewell us. Fading Hope. Put Rahilda back in hand. Alright, so all good that she's not, it's not nighttime. She would have been in hand anyway. Okay, they don't play a creature, so Searing Blood isn't going to do anything. Don't think I scry here, although I'm not going to play Royal Eruption most likely. So I'll just play Rahilda and Soulscar Mage. I guess I do scry. Oh yeah, we already knew it was on top. It's a Seasoned Pyromancer, but we get a counter on Treasure Map this way. Keep the Seasoned Pyromancer to draw a fresh hand. Send in Dragon Rage Channeler. We're just going to take 3 down to 8. Here's Rahilda again. We're going to counter her this time with Ojutai's command or something. Supreme Will. Okay, they've got her. Okay, we'll drop a Soulscar Mage. By Searing Blood. Sweet Prince. Still going to leave the stop on our upkeep, but I think it's pretty unlikely we're going to scry in our next upkeep because now we're open to just animating Castle Embereth, or animating Den of the Bugbear. And if we don't, we have Royal Eruption and Seasoned Pyromancer. Play 2 things. Okay, land per turn, go to the main phase. So I activate Den of the Bugbear and threaten lethal on board. But then my opponent plays their instant speed removal or whatever. But we hit them down to 4 even if I don't activate the Den. I feel like I'm going to go Royal Eruption Pyromancer here. I'm not going to threaten the lethal. Saiba Siphoner, so we get to see what's going on here. So Siphoner's going to come onto the board. It's going to put an instant from grave to hand. So it's going to put the Fading Hope back to hand, so they bounce something. Okay, I'm really, really happy I didn't go for lethal. We were not finding it here. So now we get to Seasoned Pyromancer while they're going to be low on mana. I guess they might not Fading Hope here. Could Castle Embereth to kill this Siphoner. Then I don't have the mana for Pyromancer, and I really want to do that this turn. Fading Hope, the Dragon's Rage Channeler. I mean, I guess, now that I have Channeler in hand too, do I just go Channeler, Eruption Siphoner, and then Pyromancer? Or do I just buff with Castle Embereth, and then I still have 2 mana up, I just replay Dragon's Rage Channeler? And then I still can Treasure Map? That honestly doesn't seem like the end of the world to me. And this way, we can start like going 1 for 1 with our cards instead of trying to just find lethal immediately. We can have our cards just compete 1 to 1, and we'll be ahead because we're drawing 2 off Pyromancer. We're going to draw more off of Treasure Map pretty soon. Give us the 3 treasure counters, or 3 treasure tokens that we can use to draw cards later. Okay. Passing to our turn, so we'll scry right now and scry in our upkeep because it's going to put us up in mana to do so anyway. I do like Grim Lavamancer, but so I can dig to haste since I'm scrying twice. Jaxus is haste. So we're With Royal Eruption, we can get lethal here if they don't have interaction. By blitzing this out, and then even if they do, we're still going to draw a card off of Jaxus after all is said and done. And I have the mana to cast Royal Eruption and Seasoned Pyromancer after all of this. So we'll just attack in, see what interaction they have here. See how this combat works out for us, and if everything resolves and we just hit them for 5 and then Royal Eruption them, then it's just game here. Maybe I probably should have activated the Den of the Bugbear too, some threatening lethal on board. Alright, no responses. At least not yet. Okay, go to 3, see if they have the counter for Royal Eruption. Well, it's so ballsy to go for Seasoned Pyromancer, because then it's like, if they have the counter, they counter Pyromancer, but then if they don't have the counter, I just discarded my lethal spell. But I draw a fresh new hand. Alright, show me the counter. Oh, please, Torrential Gearhulk counter this. Please, Torrential Gearhulk counter this. I guess I can pay for the Supreme Will because of treasures, so if it's Torrential Gearhulk, they're not going to do it. It's Thassa's Intervention. Oh, they're looking at the top 4, they're not countering it. Okay, and then they're going to neutralize to counter it, and then now we can Royal Eruption. Whew. Thought I was going to get caught with my pants down doing that, but it worked out perfectly. Draws the counter spell from their hand because they can't afford to let that resolve unless they have like a multi-creature removal spell in their hand. Like a Wrath or something. Because that's going to draw me a fresh new grip of 2 cards and probably put a 1/1 out in the process. As well as a 2/2. Alright. Well, there you have it. Forcing mono red as hard as I could, ending up Boros aggro, just forced Boros aggro here. And it's going to get us a 5-0 run to start off, getting all of our gold back and 3 rewards cards just for free on top of it. So, yeah, I would say these colors are more than strong enough to even just force, even if your draft pod has those colors contested a bit. Obviously, if everybody in the draft pod is drafting those colors, you can't do it. But if you just get almost any card in red or white in most of your picks, even if you don't have a ton of options, you can still build a pretty powerful deck. The colors are just so deep and so powerful in aggressive strategies. We don't need the Torburin, Embercleave, Experimental Frenzy. We can play the Jaxus, Rootwaller, Professional Facebreaker instead. Right. So we are unfortunately on the draw here against what looks to be a white-based deck here, so they could be the aggro deck on the play, which is very threatening every time. We'll see here. Alright, that's mono white so far. Definitely mono white aggro. Definitely a white based aggro deck here. So this is going to be already pretty heavily skewed in opponent's favor. The aggro mirror can often go to whoever goes on the play. We will do what we can here. Gonna get a Voltaic Visionary out. Threatens to trade with their stuff. Which is probably the plan, because I don't think I want to take some damage to draw another card here. I'm just gonna trade into their 3/1. Slow them down. Valor's Stance, okay. So we got a removal spell out of their hand for one of our cheap, not very effective creatures. Now we play a Nax, because when it dies we at least get 1/1s. Or we could play Mage and Adversary. Yeah, their stuff is all like 1 toughness, so Mage plus Adversary seems solid. Even attack here, because I'm not actually getting hit that hard if they don't blow up my Soul Scar Mage. Then I just trade into their 3-1 and take 2. Blade Historian, and never mind, I'm just dead. I'm just straight up dead. Unless I can draw my burn spells for that. That's 2 damage. It's 2 damage, it's not lethal. I should have specified, because now I'm just dead. Well, I guess that's that. I'm not dead this turn, but I will be dead very quickly. And I have to hold off on blocks now. Send in only the Sigardian of Angel. And their 1-1s would trade into my 2-2s on board, but I guess they gotta be certain that I have an instant here for the Soul Scar Mage, so a 1-1 does not trade into a 2-3 even if it has double strike. As much as I want to make the Historian a 0-1 just to send a message, the only thing that's really important about it is its ability anyway. So making it a 0-1 just does not help me that much. So we're just going to kill this of Angel to not take damage. Seasoned Pyromancer, that's a ton of blockers. That's perfect. That is beautiful. Discard the Tome for sure. Probably Jaxus as well. Land. Agonjo's a big one, though. Keep that Agonjo. If they ever attack with Historian, we blow it up. Brutal Cathar. It's very rough. Just permanently kill one of our 1-1s. Even if we kill that thing. They do attack with Historian here? I mean, okay. First strike a 2-2. Right? I mean, they first strike a 2-2. Oh, they gotta have Shelter in hand, some 2-mana trick. Strike that, take 3. Oh, we're so probably dead. Have to chump that. Guess I can 1-for-1 trade there. That engrave. No, that's not. Our best play is just to try to kill Historian for sure. Alright, what's in your hand? Nothing, we kill Historian. But now we're at 6. Just have a 2-2 down. I could play Icy Manipulator here. Tap one of their 2-2s. But then they draw a card off Esper Sentinel. Probably playing a Nax or Facebreaker then instead. And I have 2 blockers, which means I just take 2 damage from the 1 power creatures I block the other 2. Sure. I think I'm holding a Gonjo still. Okay, pass turn. There's a Root Walla, that's another blocker. So I can play Anax and Root Walla. First Striker is a big deal, but I just double spelled. Oh god, it exiles the thing every time I double spell. Wizards make some busted magic cards nowadays. God dang it, they just get to keep flipping this stupid thing back and forth. Oh my god. I need to blow that up so badly. Could Icy Manipulator now and pay the one so they don't draw a card off Sentinel, but then I'm tapped out on board. And they've got the 3/3 first striker just coming in. Yeah, I don't think I do that. I think I just hold up Big Anjo. To pay 3 life to kill that, but I get an axe back if I do. Luris? Luris' game. They get to place a Guardian Angel, just infinite angels. Oh my god. They get to do that 2 turns in a row. Play 2 of angels this turn, tap our stuff down. 2 of angels next turn. Yeah, Luris' mega game. Well, I stuck in this game a lot longer than I thought I could. But the aggro mirror match, opponent was on the play, we were on the draw. They had a pretty solid curve, so that is pretty much gonna be game. Pay 3 life to kill Moonrage Brutes. Then I get another blocker if I do. I pay 3, I'm at 3. Oh, whatever, I'll do it. I'm so dead no matter what anyway. Probably just trade with Esper Sentinel so they can't draw any more cards later. Down to 2. But again, they have another Evangel in their grave, which means they get to infinite Evangel us. Big score. See if we draw removal for Luris, because if we don't, we're dead. Yeah, if we don't draw removal for Luris, we're dead, so we just big score. That is not removal for Luris, but Professional Facebreaker lets us draw. That is not removal for Luris. That is not removal for Luris. Alright, did everything I did. Did everything I could. I dug really far. Really didn't get there in the end. The turn 4 Blade Historian on the play. It's very deadly. The Luris to completely refuel them after I thought I had a chance of stabilizing. Brutal stuff. 5 and 1 heading into game 7. Opponent on the play again. Hopefully not another aggro mirror. Done pretty well in the non-aggro matchups. They start with Island. Nice. Start with our Isamaru. Fading Hope. Yep, bounce it to our hand, slow us down a little bit here. That's okay, we don't have a 2-drop anyway, so we'll just play both our 1-drops turn 2. Reckoner Bankbuster. Another kind of slow card here. Very cool with that. They just spend 2 mana, tap, draw a card with it for a little while. It's not going to block at all unless they get crewing. Polymorphist is the opposite. That is not a slow card. That is a blocker immediately. It's not big enough to crew the Bankbuster, luckily, but it's a blocker immediately that gets rid of one of our attackers. Does give us another creature to replace it, but does get rid of that that creature right there. I'm willing to trade Isamaru into Polymorphist, and I'm double willing to trade if I put an Anax on board first. So we'll do that. Alright, cool. Trade and we get a Satyr. Brainstorm from our opponent. Draw 3, then put the put 2 cards from their hand on top of their library. Land for turn. Phyrexian, Metamorph make their own NX. They can get some satyrs that can't block if I blow it up. I like Seasoned Pyromancer here, actually. And then just attack with an axe. Don't attack with the 1/1 because it just dies to their axe. We discard Mazemind Tome Ox because Ox is escapable later. Although Ox is pretty big in hand too. Maybe I discard Big Score actually. Okay, we hit the lands to make it to Ox here, which is great. An axe is big enough to swing in well, put them to 14. Now we could still Uthgard Fury the Anax this turn. Satyrs can't block, but they do help them crew the Bankbuster, which is not ideal. A Gonjo is the draw. Okay, I'm gonna Uthgard Fury here. We'll hit Anax so they only get the 1 Satyr. And then now our 1 damage stacking up onto the Bankbuster or the Muldrifter does matter. Because it will stay. I guess the damage doesn't stay on the vehicle, but it stays on the Muldrifter. Okay, they could have still crewed it with the Satyr there, but that works too. Trade in the Bankbuster with an axe here. It's fine. Super fine if they kill Pyromancer, because we can exile it from grave later for value. Alright, we're going to get 2 Satyrs here. Oh, I control a legendary? Oh, wow. The flavor text. The flavor text. Never mind. Costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. Because I controlled an axe, it only costs 2 mana to use that. Teferi! Get out of my life, Teferi.
What must be done.
You're too late. Get out of my life, Teferi.
Reverse.
Grim Lavamancer. Deal 3 to my opponent. It's definitely better to kill Teferi here.
This is hardly my worst.
Make 2 1/1s, or I can play Voltaic Visionary and Lavamancer, or I can play Ox. Like Visionary Lavamancer here. Send that Satyr in. Wrath the board. Ox for a fresh new hand. Last card in hand is a counterspell here. Seems good. Can escape that though if I get 1 more card in grave. And then Jin Gataxius off the top. That doesn't stop enchantments, though. Artifact, instant, or sorcery. Does not stop our tucked away Anax. Opponent is just drawing golden here. Jin Gataxius off the top and a Thirst for Discovery off the top for draw 6, discard 2. The dream draws. Hopefully we can get some of that action this turn. Nope, we get a spell that automatically gets countered by Jin Gataxius. If it gets countered, that means Ox gets to escape from the grave, which means an axe is big enough to attack here. Alright, counter treasure map. Now I have 8 cards for Ox. They have another card that counters a spell. They did just draw 6. Thanks to their last couple draws. Yep. This is gonna be our most frustrating loss of the day if we lose this one. Jesus Christ. Christ, opponents. Sick. Well, this game sucked. Like, we had them on the ropes. We had multiple cards that give us extra value out of the graveyard. We had them with 0 cards in hand to our 0 in hand, except that we had, again, cards in grave that would give us extra value, but they just top deck into Jin-Gataxias plus the draw spell for draw 6. And now they have way too many cards for us to ever get through. Also, how are they at 20? When did that happen? Oh, did they play something that, like... Oh, they played the Approach of the Second Sun and it doubled up. They gained 14 life, too. Oh my god. Well, sometimes you just draw it all and sometimes you don't. Our opponent definitely drew it all in the end there. 5-2 it is. Still really nice record for the forced aggro deck here, but that was an obnoxious game. 5-2 heading into round 8. Here we are now in round 8. We're on the play again. 1 drop into Tome into Facebreaker. Kind of awkward hand here, but we'll roll with it. Some of our more filler cards here for sure. Okay, keep the 6-card hand. We'll start with our turn 1 Lavamancer and pass the turn. Opponent is on black here. Gonna light up the stage, look for some more plays here, but I think I want to wait till after Facebreaker for that. Just scry with our Maze Mind Tome here, or just have it on board to draw cards, because we are already a little flooded, potentially. So being able to fully draw cards will be nice. They are on green and black, and they're passing turn here. Sure. Ooh, Phoenix of Ash is a turn 3 play? Sure. Come on down. Hit for 3 this turn, and they are down to 16. Turn 3, they're going to drop an Ophiomancer, which is going to block on the ground all day long. We're going to need Grim Lavamancer to shoot that, otherwise we're just hitting in the sky for now. Definitely play a Facebreaker, we can get our treasure off the Phoenix of Ash. We can use the treasure plus this mountain to draw a card off Maze Mind Tome here. I think I will. Tenacious Pup. They're going to gain 1 life, and their next creature comes with +1/+1 trample and vigilance. Shakedown Heavy, a 7/4 Shakedown Heavy, a big boy. Just gonna let that hit us probably to keep them from drawing cards. Getting out of dying to our Phoenix of Ash. Doesn't give reach, right? Yeah, no reach. Okay, I'll take one. And we'll draw a card. Well, it's not that bad to just scry if it's a good card. Twin Shot. I can cast that and kill Ophiomancer. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll keep that. It's not going to help me attack anymore, but I think it's still pretty good to kill that. Just send in Phoenix of Ash. If I can find a way to kill Ophiomancer and Pup, I get to get in with Facebreaker as well this turn. Which means if I get 2 cards in my grave, so if I Twin Shot and light up the stage here, I guess. But I wouldn't have dealt any damage to their face, so light up's going to cost the full 3. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that. I'm probably just hard casting Sniper. Shooting the Ophiomancer. Attacking for 2 in the sky. If I hit a 2-mana or less card, I could cast it here, and I do have a lot of those, so get a little greedy here, try to get a card. Alright, I can play a land. That works. Set up some plays for next turn as well. Seems fine by me. Whatever we exile is what we'll play next turn. Land, land. Well, we got these lands out of the way. That's for certain. Why do you exile the Maze Mind Tome instead of just sacrificing it? Baba Saga, that could be a big deal. If there were 3 more card types among the sacked permanents, they only have lands and creatures right now, so we're actually fine against Baba Saga currently. If they get an artifact or enchantment, things could be bad. Oh, it's got Vigilance? Oh, the Vigilance counter makes it so rough. I was going to say, if they attack with it, I'm definitely going to take it, because it's just going to be tapped and I can't block it anyway. Well, I'm still going to take 7 for now. While we're at 19 life over here. Now I'm probably just activating Maze Mind Tome aggressively just to get the life gain sooner. Danto Vanguard. Not actually that great on this board state. I'll get rid of that. It's never getting through a 7/5. And another land. I should have stopped in my upkeep so I could scry again there. That was loose. Use Facebreaker here though. Big score. Well, sure. Land Uthgard Fury, though. Uthgard Fury is quite real. Kill Baba Saga or shoot their face. Shoot their Shakedown Heavy for 4 and finish it off with Lavamancer. Tons of great options. I think I'm going to kill the Shakedown Heavy here. And give it Hexproof, Indestructible, and gain 2. Sure are. Okay. That is very bad for us. Just let them draw the card now. Lavamancer Uthgard Fury is actually kind of a sick combo because we can stack up to where we're killing their stuff. I think I'd rather just be doing face damage though. I will put the stop on my upkeep again. So we can double tome. Treasure map? No. I guess it's pretty like I should have just fully drawn the card here. I've got the mana for it this time. Rahilda, yes, I would like to draw you. Yeah, I definitely should have fully drawn the card. I've been playing really loose this game. Kind of just on tilt after the last one. Mega loose over here. What do we have? Facebreaker? Isamaru. It's not nothing. It's not much. Could double pump Phoenix of Ash here. It's threatening to kill him in 2 attacks. Even a single pump threatens lethal next turn, though. Thanks to Grim Lavamancer, if I get something in the graveyard. Which I will probably just block Shakedown Heavy this turn, so it's actually just single pump. Still threatening lethal next turn if they don't kill the Phoenix of Ash, and this way I get to play another creature. Or post-combat something with Professional Facebreaker. Depending on what we hit. Let's see. Shouldn't have played the land. I played it because I thought I was going to double pump, but I didn't fully think through that yet. We were not going to double pump this turn. Royal Eruption. It's my only turn I get to cast this? Sure. Ebondeath Dracolich. Flash flying. Out of nowhere. I can kill that with Lavamancer. If I want to be safe. I can also just take 5. Shoot it only if they give it lifelink out of nowhere or something. Knight of the Ebon Legion. Alright, well, because we know these are all of the cards, we know we can beat these cards, so we don't give them the Shakedown Heavy card draw here. We just make sure we survive this combat. And we've got them dead to our Phoenix of Ash on board. So we just do some nonsense like this. Shoot the Ebondeath. Just comes to play tapped anyway. Yeah. And then kill them with Phoenix of Ash. And that should be game. Unless I'm forgetting about something in their graveyard, but I don't believe I am. Welcome back, Ebondeath. And do your thing, Phoenix of Ash. And that's going to be 6-2 now, even after some really loose plays there. Definitely some loose plays in some earlier games too, but especially that one. I played that out super rough, but we still got some really good work done with the flyer there. Phoenix of Ash being an incredible magic card for us. And that's going to lead us to 6-2, meaning next game is the final boss, win or lose. Final game of Magic, the game that decides it all. Will it be another trophy run with these red and white aggro decks, or is this one, having just heavily forced it in a draft pot, I probably shouldn't have gone for it. Is this one a little too weak to make it into the 7-0 or 7-win Hall of Fame? We'll find out heading into the last game of Magic. Final boss time. Alright, here we are on the play. No 1-mana creature, but some great 2-mana creatures. Gonna snap keep this. The mana is incredible. It's pretty much perfection here. The only thing that would be better is if we had like a turn 1 Grim Lavamancer or Rootwaller or something. It is going to be an aggro mirror though. Now we have a turn 3 Pyromancer. That can be spicy. I think I like Vanguard here, being able to save itself from removal. And being able to send in and save itself during combat. Spend a lot of life to do it, but if we can stay on the front foot, we could be good. Okay, they're red-blue. So it means they have a lot of counter spells and burn spells, most likely. I'm paying the life every time in this matchup. Be a little sketchy in like the matchup against mono red, but against red blue, I'm gonna do everything I can to keep all my threats on board as often as possible. Now I can play a Nax this turn. A Nax and Seasoned Pyromancer both put 4 power on the board. Pyromancer spreads it out, and Nax puts it all on 1 card. Oh, Pyromancer, I'll spread things out here. Discard Jax's Adversary, probably. Or Jax's Sniper, wouldn't be bad. But Sniper's my only way to clear something up out of the way right now, which feels pretty good. Definitely keeping an axe. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Jax's Adversary. Ooh, tapped land, that's a bit awkward, but we've got 2 3-drops. So should still be okay. Poppet Stitcher, okay. 2/3 blocker, you got it. Can't Twin Shot Sniper this turn because my land comes into play tapped. Good Facebreaker, so I know I'm getting treasure, but then my opponent knows their Stitcher is safe to block here. Can't block Vanguard though. So I could just send in Vanguard. Or I attack with everybody's Stitcher dies, but I get 2 more damage in that way. Or Pyromancer dies, but I get 2 more damage, and I don't think that's worth it. 2 damage for Pyromancer to get in. They might want to block here. If they block here, I lose 4 life, all but guaranteed, and I don't get a treasure token. They do lose Poppet Stitcher, which I'm assuming they don't really want here, but it could be worth it for them. Okay, they're not going to block, so we will get our treasure token, and we will pass the turn. Okay, we've got 4th mana, turn 4. Hit all the land drops here, and Legion Warboss is the play. There's our target for Twin Shot Sniper for sure. For certain. And then Unholy Heat on the Pyromancer. That does not actually exile it, so that's fine. Still get some value from the grave with that card later. Hit a goblin that has to attack, I can block that. And then I can kill the Stitcher. Or the War Boss, not the Stitcher. Whoa! No. Just block, don't sack the treasure right now, please. Okay, 5 mana. I could play a Nax and discard the Twin Shot Sniper here. Seems good to me, actually. So I can have another big threat on the board. Sack a 1/1 to get 1 more damage in this turn. Fine by me. Not great, but now we're putting them down to 8, getting them really low. We've got card draw in hand and on board. We've got more 1/1s in our grave. Got a Den of the Bugbear on board as well. At Sushi, the Blazing Sky. Gets them some treasure or a couple cards when it dies. That's a big one. It's a big enough blocker to block the Vanguard as well. Draw some cards here. Grim Lavamancer, that's a great one. Voltaic Visionary, also pretty good. 2 treasures after I do this. It's enough treasure to still cast everything. Even if I don't draw land. If I do, then I just play a land and I only have to sack 1 treasure. Pact of Negation? Oh my god. Well, I still play Grim Lavamancer, but that's obnoxious. Jesus Christ. Not the right card. Well, they're not playing anything this turn. That's actually huge. Wait, no, this was fine. I guess they just get the treasures now. Because now they don't get to exile cards with Atsushi because they have to spend all 5 of their mana next turn on Pact of Negation. Okay, this was not as bad as I thought it was, but it was still pretty brutal. Discard my draw 2, or counter my draw 2, and stop me from getting the treasures to cast both of the cards I wanted to cast there. But it hurt them too, because it hurt their Atsushi block a lot. Unless they really specifically just needed the treasures. They have 1 blocker on board now and 3 mana up. I mean, I feel like I just get there. They block the 3-power creature, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Lavamancer deals 2 more. I put them to 1 life. I don't quite get there. On board. Mazemind Tome, that doesn't change anything. I guess Den of the Bugbear. If they have no instant speed interaction, I activate Den of the Bugbear, they trade Poppet Stitcher into the Den. They take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Need some cheap interaction here. Even if I don't attack with Lavamancer, because they go block there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's still 9, even not attacking with Lavamancer. I guess I attack with Lavamancer too. Why not? Alright. No instant speed interaction. That Pact of Negation was sketch, but we're still going to get there. 7-2 run with the Boros aggro deck, where we were just forcing mono red, and we can still find a 7-win run with the strategy. Definitely the best deck in format, the deck to beat. Red, white, and Boros aggro strategies are absolutely absurd. You can run a bunch of weird filler like Ice Manipulator, Treasure Map, Mazemind Tome, just because you're getting partially cut off of your colors, and still end up with a 7-win deck, which is insane. Absolutely insane run here. I don't even think I played very well, and we still got a 7-win run. Made a lot of misplays throughout several of the games, but still just gonna work out, because the aggro decks are absurd in this cube. But yeah, not much else to say there. A little bit of an experimental draft this time around, seeing if forcing the aggro still gets those ridiculous runs, and it sure did. Yeah, really not much else to say there. As far as for the YouTube channel, if you're interested in catching some more videos, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feeds. We've got a lot of great stuff on the horizon. Tomorrow I'm going to be playing an alchemy tournament, which I have no idea how to do, so I'm just going to play a mono red deck and trying to get as many gems out of the event as I can, because I qualified by being mythic and limited, so they made me play a constructed event. Just because that's how Arena works, I guess. So, I don't know, we'll see. Get some free gems tomorrow. But then after that, we've got Kaladesh remastered drafts coming back to Arena. Those will be really cool. And Amonkhet remastered drafts coming back to Arena. I'm actually really, really excited for those, because as you can see from this draft, I'm starting to feel a little stale on this Arena cube. It does feel like the cube is somewhat solved, at least for me. It feels like if I want a 7-win run, just draft red or white aggro, and I'll get it pretty much every time. And if I want to do something fun, I'm pretty much guaranteed, even if I think I have a really good deck in that strategy, to be like a 5-3 deck on average. I did 7-2 with blue-white, white-black, but pretty much I think every deck I've 7-win run had either white or red in it. And yeah, my best non-white or red deck was a really sick like green-blue ramp deck, and even that was a 5-3 deck. So I don't know, the color imbalance, at least in my opinion, is a bit too much for me. So the cube is getting stale a little fast this time around. So I probably will be doing a ton of Kaladesh Remastered and Amonkhet Remastered as those show up. And then of course, Dominar United is less than 2 weeks away now. So Dominar United, the next big draft format. So tons of cool stuff on the horizon. Stick around for that if you're interested in that content. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.